Hi guys, welcome back to Simple Acre Homestead. We just had our Mother's Day weekend. I'm sure a lot of you did, and I hope you had a great day. In true homestead fashion, for Mother's Day, I got to go shopping for plants. So on Mother's Day, I got a message from my friend. She had picked up a couple of cherry trees at a local grocery store at a very good price. So that evening, we headed over to the grocery store and we found a whole lot more than cherry trees. And we got a whole lot more than cherry trees. We got all sorts of berry bushes. Well, you'll see as we go along. I'm going to be putting them in the garden and show you each of these. But we are definitely expanding our fruit and berry section in our garden. All right, so we're going to be adding some of these to the outside of our garden because it's getting pretty full in there, but a whole bunch of them are going inside the garden. And Bert has been kind enough to dig the holes for me already, so let's get going. Okay, so we're going to start over here outside the garden with one of the trees, or actually bushes, that I have never had before, never even tasted before. And that's a goji berry. Having a little trouble here. Okay. So the goji berry, if you can see the label, it's little red berries. And it grows pretty tall. It's actually quite a range. It's from 3 to 10 feet. It doesn't need a whole lot of width beside it. 2 to 5 feet distance between this and other plants, but it does grow pretty tall. So we're going to put it outside the garden here next to our chicken run here, and it should do just fine. All right, on this label, I am reading that it's packed with antioxidants and medicinal properties, so that's always fun. I am trying to add more medicinal things to our garden, so that's awesome. It's a sweet, slightly sour berry, and it needs full sun to partial shade, only 3+ hours. That's easily done. So I'm going to add a little water to the hole to start. It is going to rain later today, so that will be very helpful. But we're just going to start with a little bit of dampness to the soil. All right. So I'm going to loosen the roots just a bit and plant it so that the top of the ground is at the top of this dirt. And for that, I'm going to have to add a little dirt back, which is fine because that gives me a little loose dirt at the bottom. There we go. That looks about right. I'm going to add a little more water as I go just to help compact things. For a while, I might have to go back to this video to see what tree or bush is planted where. I would like to be able to maybe stick the label next to the bush, but that's for another time because it's going to rain soon. All right, next we have 2 different types of gooseberries. And I do mean different. Different leaves, different colored berries. Looks like different sizes. And again, gooseberries, I've never even tasted, but it's a berry, it has to be good, right? I am excited to try these. So this is the Pixwell variety, these yellow stripy type berries. It grows 3 to 4 feet tall. And it also needs 3+ hours of sun. So again, easily done. Break up the roots a little bit. And these are a little pokey. I'm just realizing. I think they're supposed to be semi-thornless, if I remember. But there are thorns for sure. There we go, a little loose soil in the bottom. And this is one of my favorite things about our garden over the years. We find worms everywhere. So that's a really good sign of good soil. So I'm reading that these are used for preserves, jams and jellies. That'll be interesting to try. I'm also reading that they're practically thornless, which is not exactly true. Can you get a little look at some of these thorns? Now, as I look over to the other gooseberry plant, that one actually does look pretty thornless. This one, not so much. All right, one gooseberry down, one more to go. So this is the Captivator variety. Again, 3 to 4 feet tall. It's sunshade one, so about 3 hours plus. And it says it's one of the larger and better flavored fresh eating type of gooseberries, which is awesome because I do want things that can be easily eaten fresh. It's nice to have things for preserves, but I find that we end up getting too many preserved fruit in the freezer. And if the kids can just come out and eat things fresh, all the better. All right, 3 down, 7 more plants to go. All right, we are out here in our blueberry area. We also have our haskellps or honeyberries out here. But we did start out with 4 blueberry plants, which we've expanded a little bit. And we're going to expand a little bit more. So this is a blueberry tree that I didn't even know existed, called a pink lemonade. It grows 4 to 5 feet, normal for blueberries, and it is considered sweet and juicy. It wants full sun, 6+ hours, so this is a good area for that. So I'm going to be adding some peat moss to the planting hole here. And we did this with all of our blueberry plants. The peat moss helps to lower the pH to the level that a blueberry would like. And it helps with drainage issues as well. So this plant actually already has a few little berries on it, which is exciting. These aren't really root bound much at all, so I don't need to break it up much. Actually, it might be a little too low. And they are surrounded by strawberries. In fact, we had to dig up some strawberries just to make the hole, which I have set aside over there to plant against the fence because, you know, why let it go to waste? More worms. Okay, over here by this trellis on the far end of the strawberry patch, we are going to put in our first cherry tree. This is a Valentine variety, needs 6+ hours of sun, and it grows 8 to 10 feet, which is higher than some of the other ones. It is a dwarf tree, but that's still a pretty good height. These are a little bit more root bound, so I'm going to smush it up a little more. So this type says perfect for pies, and I would imagine preserves would be in the same category. All right, we are halfway through our planting. Over here at the back of the play yard against the fence, we are going to put our 2 currant bushes, different varieties. So here we have Red Lake red currant, and this grows 3 to 5 feet and needs 3+ hours of sun. Both of them are good for baking and preserves. And this is, again, something else I've never tasted, so I really hope I like it. All right, so this is the Red Lake red currant, and over here we have the Crandall black currant. So this looks like slightly smaller berry. I mean, it could just be the picture. I'm not an expert by any means. But it is also good for jams, juices, and syrups. It's got a slightly tart taste. All right, moving on. We, I believe, only have cherry trees left. We're going from 0 cherry trees to 4. We have another dwarf cherry tree from the Romance series, and I believe the remaining 3 are from the Romance series. The Cupid, the Romeo, and the Juliet. From my understanding, these are the sweetest of the tart cherries. So not super sweet, but not super tart either. And because they are a sour cherry, they don't actually need a different variety of cherry growing nearby to cross-pollinate, but we will have it anyway. I'll use this and pretend I'm trying to stay clean. So I'm really counting on that rain we're supposed to get this afternoon. Otherwise, I will have to come out here and pour buckets of water on these bushes and trees. All right, on to the next dwarf cherry tree of the Romance series. Okay, here is the Juliet. This one doesn't have the tag. I don't have a whole bunch of information, but I'm sure it's very similar to the other cherry trees. And it's a really healthy looking plant. It would be so nice if we actually got some cherries growing, because we have attempted it before with no luck, but these were just the right price to try again. Yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo, over here. It's Romeo. We have our final plant, our final cherry tree as well, and that is the Romeo variety of the Romance series. It's also a nice tall plant. I'm so impressed at the price we got these at, because you buy from the nurseries and they're going to be at least twice as much. So check out your local grocery stores. You might be surprised by what you find. I'm not pretending anymore. I'm not even going to try to stay clean. That's not what gardening's about, right? Great. That one gets the final drink, and we're done. We beat the rain, but the clouds are getting dark out there. I have to go clean up. So this was my Mother's Day present. Very excited. It's the gift that keeps on giving. We're excited to have new variety of fruit and berries in our garden, and it'd be awesome to see some harvest this year. And we might, because there's little blueberries already on the tree. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, share. And again, I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.